Hi, hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I get this makeup look right here. This look. It gets me a lot of compliments whenever I wear it. I've been wearing it for about 2 weeks whenever I do my makeup and everyone has been saying, "Ooh, you look so pretty." And it just feels good, and it's because of the way I've done my makeup and the colors I'm using. It's just a very flattering look for my sort of pale, light medium olive skin tone. So if you want to see how to accomplish this look, please keep watching. Okay everyone, I've already done my skincare. I've got on my sunscreen and now I'm going to set everything with a setting spray. Okay, I've given that time to thoroughly dry down and now I'm going to apply my mattifying grippy primer. I like this one by Revlon. This one's really good. And that's to control the oil in the center of my face because my skin is combination. It's oily through the T-zone and dry on the cheeks, so I'm gonna let this dry before I put anything over top. I am going to go ahead and move on to priming my eyelids. This Ultimate Primer by NYX. Okay, that's nice and blended, and now I'm just going to let everything dry down and get tacky before I move on to color correcting. Okay, my my primers have all dried down and gotten tacky the way I want around my eyes. And now it's color correcting time. I'm just using this LA Girl one. Okay, I'm going to let this dry down to show you what I do next. Okay, now I'm going to set again with my setting spray and let that dry down. That's dried down, and now I'm going to set my color corrector with some heavy duty powder, just a touch. You don't want a lot of this. That's all I'm going to use. I'm using the Coty setting powder. So I'm just going to set this lightly. But before I do that, I'm going to remove any creasing that might have developed in this, just like you would with any other concealer. Now, this is done. Now it's time to move on to my complexion product. I am not using a foundation. I am actually going to use the Australian Gold Tinted SPF 50. I love this stuff. And I'm going to use this like my color correcting foundation, even out my skin tone. This is a BB cream, so you can do that with this. And I'm just going to be using about that much. And if I need more, I'll add it. And I'm going to stipple it on like this with a foundation brush. Okay, so as I was doing that, I was avoiding my under eye area because I am going to use concealer. I'm going to apply it and let it dry down before I blend so that I get extra coverage. Okay, it's time to blend this out using this bigger brush for my chin. Okay, and now for my eyes, I'm switching to this smaller but still wide brush. Okay, so I think you know the drill. Set and powder. I will be right back once those are done. Okay, I've used my setting spray again and I have let it dry down. And now I'm going to use my color product. This is Petal Core, the blurry tint from Maybelline. Oh, I love this. This is so pretty. And I'm going to put some of this on the back of my hand and apply it to my cheeks before I powder. For this, I'm going to put my glasses back on so I can get the placement right because the glasses kind of affect the placement. Look straight into my mirror. I like to warm it up and press it into my finger like this. And then I think it's the most flattering on my face. I put it more on the side over here and I just think it makes my face look too wide. So I started experimenting and moving it around and I've moved it forward and I just think it looks much better. I also like to take it up a little under my eye, not much, but just so it doesn't have a break. Let's make sure it's even, it looks even. Now I'm going to powder, but this time I'm powdering with a different setting powder. I'm going to be using this Neutrogena Hydro Boost setting powder. This is beautiful. I need a puff. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the same puff as I used previously. Alright, so now it's onto the eyes. Now for my eyes, I am just going to use a black eyeliner. I know, black eyeliner in your 40s is such a travesty, but it really does look so much better on me than brown. It's more impactful, and that's what I'm going for. So it does not look stark on me. If it looks stark, I would use it, but it's not. Okay, so there's my wing, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one off camera. Now it's time to curl my lashes and apply mascara. Both eyes are done now. Now moving on to brows. I have very sparse brows. They fell out when I went through chemo a few years ago, and they never really grew back. So what I like to do is comb through them like this, and then I use a pencil. I'm using the new NYX eye pencil, the Blade shade, because it comes in gray, grayed black. I love grayed blacks because they're not harsh. And what I do is I move my glasses down and I look straight on in the mirror, and I start by filling in where they're sparse. I don't like to draw a line underneath and a line on top. I did do that for a while, but I don't do that anymore. And I even out both of them so that they look like twins. I like twins, so just work back and forth, side to side. And then from there, I draw in the tails. And I always go back and forth, side to side, so that I make sure I get them even. And I always turn my head this way to see what I'm doing to the side, because your face isn't flat. Once I get the basic shape that I like, I might have to go back in and fill in just a little more in places. Once I got that basic shape in, so you can see it's very even, then I work on the fronts. I just flick up, and I do bring them in just a tiny bit because the hair really never grew back. I'm trying to go for an ombre effect. I want it lighter towards my nose and darker, and then fade into the edge of the tail, just because I think it looks more natural that way, and that's pretty even. Now I'm going to use my tint again and do my lips. I do not use lip liner with this. This doesn't need. And finally, I'm going to use this L'Oreal Infallible Blush in pink. And I'm going to put some of this over top of the stain I used on my cheeks. Just a little bit. Just going to tap and work this into the brush. Really work it in. And just a buff over top that color. Okay. Now I'm going to go over this with what's left on my top, just to soften it a bit. And with what's left on my brush, put a dash on the top of my nose, just a dash. And that's it. That's the look. Okay, I hope you liked that tutorial for how to get this look. I'll have all the products listed below. As always, like and subscribe. My name's Mimi, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.